Hey, you know what's better than night school?
The Dark Night School.
I don't know what I'm doing. What is up, Flick fans, and welcome back to my channel. I just watched the brand new studio comedy Night School, starring Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish. And so a group of troublemakers are forced to attend night school in hope that they'll pass the GED exam to finish high school. It has all the makings to be a great studio comedy and a great ensemble cast with really good supporting actors. So I was really excited for this one. If you guys didn't check out my Smallfoot review, I've watched 2 movies in one day, baby. Smallfoot and Night School. It's been a long day, but I have to get through this review, and we will. Let's talk about the good. Like I said, Night School had a lot of good things going for it. Kevin Hart was very funny in this movie. I like Kevin Hart. A lot of people don't like him. They're getting sick of him, and I understand that. I can see where they're coming from because most of the movies that he's in just kind of fall short. They're not very good. He's good in them, but you know, I mean, obviously you have Jumanji, and then, Central Intelligence was pretty good. But last year we had a movie called Girls Trip that came out. Tiffany Haddish was a breakout star in that film. Now I feel like she continues to be typecasted in the same role over and over. She's the obnoxious loudmouth, the same character every time. Now she's always funny, and she's funny again here. Her back and forth with Kevin Hart, I thought that really worked. Now the story surrounding them, we'll get into that a little bit later, but I really like when they were on screen together, their dynamic. But what really stood out to me here, those two were great, but the classmates, the 4 or 5 people that we get surrounding them in the classroom, actually I think it's 6, but they were really good, really funny. I loved every time we were in the classroom. Those scenes always worked for me. There were a handful of jokes in that setting that felt a little bit awkward, and okay, those didn't work as well, but overall, I really like when the classmates were together, causing a ruckus, making a little bit of trouble, but I liked that, and I liked what they did on screen. Now, well, I won't get into issues yet. Another thing that I really liked about this movie was the vibe that I got. It felt like these old schools, kind of like a throwback comedy. You take a simple premise, you combine a group of people together, and you get jokes. Now, I don't like when movies are there to serve you jokes and just like one-liner here, one-liner there. We're going to make you laugh, and we're going to put you in different situations, but it doesn't come together to make a cohesive story. I'm not going to say this story wasn't cohesive, because there is a through line, there's a story all the way through from beginning to end. I didn't really like where it went, but I do like that it kind of kept itself on track the entire time. It's like, okay, we know where we're going, we know kind of how we're going to get there, but if you make us laugh along the way and provide us a cohesive film, then it's going to work. And while the film wasn't really cohesive, I did think that they made us laugh about 50 or 60% of the time. So I will say that I laughed more than I didn't laugh, and that's a good thing, with the jokes, not the entire movie. That's the best thing I can say about a comedy, is if the jokes do not land, then it's not going to work with me. Most of the jokes landed here. I really like Kevin Hart. I really like Tiffany Haddish. And now we get into the reason why this movie did not work as a whole for me, and that is the story, the plot, but most importantly, the directing. What in the world happened? Girls Trip was a well-directed film. This movie was just, it was nasty. It was just dirty to look at. And I mean that in the way of, okay, you have a scene, this scene is going along, and then you see somebody's mouth move in the scene. Well, you expect the words that you're hearing to match up with the mouth, and I get it. Maybe they were trying to go from an R rating to a PG-13 rating, so they had to cover up the F word with a different word. Now, when you do that, director, editor, look at me, when you do that, you cut to a different shot. Don't show the person's mouth, because if you show the person's mouth, then you're going to make me immediately jump off board of the movie, and that's what happened 2 or 3 times in the film. She literally screams the F word. You can see her do it, and they use a different word. I don't even remember what the word was, but when you guys see it, you will notice it. There were 3 people sitting right next to me, 2 on this side, 1 on this side, and I heard the, just like, what just happened? She clearly said a different word. It's like when trailers come out and you can see them mouthing something and the words don't match up. Well, that kind of works in a trailer. You see why they're doing that. In a movie, it doesn't work. And it wasn't just that problem. There were multiple technical issues with the film. The editing was just weird. It was kind of off-putting. I didn't like there were shots where Tiffany Haddish was popping up on screen trying to tell Kevin Hart what to do. You can handle that situation a lot differently. I get it. You see that on the script. You don't have to physically put her there. I thought that was just very jarring to watch, and I was cringing at some of the ways they edit the film. They do a lot of that, and I say it all the time. The over-the-shoulder shot where the person's mouth is moving, but they're clearly saying something else. It's not as bad as their mouth moving right in front of the camera, but it still happens in the film, and it happens more often than not, and I'm just like, who was directing this film? Because it's clearly not the person who did Girls Trip, right? I think Malcolm D. Lee has a lot of potential, but this film was just very incoherent to me. And then we get into the plot and the story, and it was just, one, really predictable, and two, a lot of it just doesn't make sense. And I get it, that's the vibe you're going for, but when Rob Riggle falls off of a roof and clearly breaks multiple bones in his body, and clearly breaks a part of his arm because it's behind his head, and this is not really a spoiler, come on. And then the next scene comes, and I believe it was the next day, and he's fine. He's just sitting there, no stakes. These people are impenetrable. It's just they set up this really personal and real story with Kevin Hart, and then they mix it with all of these non-realistic things. Those two tones don't go together for me, and because of that, it made it an incoherent story, and overall the movie didn't really work, even though I found moments of joy and laughter. So overall, I'm not gonna say I didn't like the movie, because there are definitely parts of it to like. I like some of the characters' chemistry, blah, 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 but I can't give the movie a positive score because it was just so poorly put together, and they kept taking me out of the movie, and that's why I'm going to give Night School a 50%. Right on the dot, right down the middle. It's not a great movie. It's not a horrible film. It might be a horribly made film, but it's kind of a guilty pleasure because I did think some of the jokes worked, and I laughed more than I have at some of the really, really, really bad comedies this year, so I had to give it kudos there. So what did you guys think of Night School? Did you like it more than me? Did you dislike it more than me? I can definitely see how people are going to hate this film. I didn't hate it, but I'm not going to judge you if you did. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I have 2 more videos coming out tomorrow. It's going to be a busy weekend on my channel. Please stick around. You guys are the absolute best. Are you gonna watch another Kevin Hart movie? Please go check out MovieBabbleReviews.com. They have a lot of good stuff going on there. I will catch you guys later.